So Paul, we're out in County Westmeath here today because basically I wanted to see an absolutely class outfit, pardon the pun. On Facebook, you're Scally Silage, so that is predominantly what the contract inside of the business is, and you can see that as well landed down here today. You have the two 870s going, you have the two loaders going, and you have a whole heap of Claas machinery and grass machinery going at the same time. So why Claas?
Well, sure, look at it. It's like everything else. I started off with loads of tractors and everything, and by accident I had another tractor, I suppose, a John Deere, and it broke my heart, to be honest with you. And I met Philip O'Hara one day and asked him would he have a tractor to hire me. So I ended up getting, it was a small 145 horsepower Claas, and I brought it down, and we're working in Carton and Maynooth at the time with a dump trailer on it. And the lads that was driving the Claas tractor wouldn't give it back, basically, and then I got a demonstrator one day, and look, it sure went from there on, like, you know, so.
Whereas now, like, you're running all the Claas now, there's nothing else in
everything,
between.
look, I am, and I suppose I'm running it for several different reasons. The Claas harvester has proved itself over and over for a lot of years. The green machinery, as I call it, their mowers and all, the rakes and all that, like, very good. They're actually built for Irish conditions, which a lot of them aren't. And the tractors are, sure, they're nearly everything. So they're John Deere, Ferguson back ends, there's a bit of everything in them, like, you know, to be honest with you, with the Claas. So if all them big manufacturers put their minds together, they're after building a great tractor, basically. So that's kind of why I'm sticking with there on that one. And I have to say, one of the main reasons is the service. Like, the lads in Leinster Farm Machinery, brilliant. Noel, Seamus, like, you know, Richie in the stores, brilliant lads, like, you know, there's no messing with them. And that's a big thing. When you ring up somebody looking for a filter and he's able to walk up and hand it to you, like, that's, you know, and you're going home with the right piece. Great, it's great, no time wasting, none of that.
Yeah, and like, coming away from that, like, exactly what you were saying there, having great lads in the service side of things, one thing that you have repeated over and over to me today is it's essential for yourselves having great lads in the tractors and the harvester, on the loaders.
Yeah. Look, to be honest about it, I'm only the fella that gets the phone call to come to get the silage cut. I throw it over onto the Seans, the Druises, the Paddy Croaches, or whoever, you know, of this little world. And, you know, Sean, Michael, whoever, you know, you ring there and then, and they come and they do it on the day that it has to be done. And the great thing about the lads as well is to have a huge interest in it, like, you know, huge interest. Like, you know, they have a huge interest in both keeping it tidy and right, and actually, you know, I suppose to get a thrill as well out of, no more than anyone else, out of actually working and driving good stuff and looking after it, you know, like, to be honest about it. Like, to be honest about it, I arrive into the yard and everything is ready. Fair play to Drew, fair play to Lee, whoever it is. And it's great to have them lads there to do that, if you know what I get that.
Yeah, because that was the one thing I noticed immediately as I came into the yard this morning, and you said it, like, although they might not be lined up like that every day, they're definitely as clean as they were when I rocked up this morning. Yeah,
you actually made a comment to me saying, you know, was the first time you washed them around? Like, believe it or believe it not, the power washer is probably one of the busiest things in the yard.
Right.
Like, and as I said to you, the best time to find anything broken a tractor or a trailer or whatever is washing it. You know, you'll see it there and then, like, you know. So look, it's great to have good lads, and that's the whole of it now at the end of the day. Like.
When I say you have a tidy fleet, it's not just about the new machines in your yard, it's about how well you maintain them. Yeah. So like we were saying there, that 870 that you've just gone, the older 870, the 07 that you've just gone and got, it's been reconditioned. She looks like she's brand new, and no doubt by looking at all the other machines that you have in the yard, she'll be kept that way. Yeah,
that 870, the man that owned it now, in fairness to him now, he kept it pretty good as well. But that's the machine that myself and Sean, we looked at several harvesters, and like, there was newer ones and bigger ones and better ones, or, you know, more high performance ones. But we walked into the shed. We actually had that harvester bought before we walked into the shed, because we've seen your man's yard, we've seen the tractors that he had in his yard, his loaders and everything, and I says, we'll buy this harvester. And I think, you know, I said to Sean, this is the harvester that we're going to be looking for, this is the one we're going to be looking for.
Yeah.
And like, to be fair, that's what we've done, we bought the harvester. Carl drives the harvester, to be fair, and, you know, look, we won't take that away from him. Like, he's very good on it and keeps it well, and so try to keep the one fella driving that if we can at all, you know. He lets me drive it an odd time. So basically, look, it's a credit to him the way the old harvester went in. It was like a new harvester, like, you know. So basically, just let him at it, to be honest with you.
Because this year you've invested in 3 870s, the lady sitting there behind you, the 07 870 harvester, and you've gone up now from the 860 to the 870 class that you're running at the moment, the new class.
Yeah.
And any particular reason why you went and changed from the 860 to the 870?
Well, look, one of them was, I suppose, I had a ped for, and that was one of the things. The other one was that if you don't, you know, I'm paying half the amount of money I was paying before for a brand new harvester. I didn't spend a penny on the 860 because obviously it was new and it worked, and it always gave us great service. And if the new harvester gives us as much service as the last one, I'd be very happy. Like, repayments rather than repairs is what you should be spending the money on, like, you know.
With your two outfits, obviously, you're running the two harvesters, all the Brahon trailers as well.
Brahons, yeah.
Yeah, and you've got two JCBs on the pit. So you've got the 419 and the 418.
Yeah.
And like, how do you find, because one thing that I actually did notice, the 418 would almost speed up the pit. I know what you're saying, obviously the 419 is faster, but with the bigger loads, I didn't see the 418 skip a beat, to be honest.
No, and look, I suppose that absolutely broke my heart when I got it first. And I don't know why it changed its mind, but it seemed to do the job. It's 5 years was now, and you know, touch wood, it hasn't given any trouble. Dual wheels, it probably wants a set of tyres on them now. The tyres is about half on it, and a new set of tyres will give that job, you know, twice the speed. But I don't know why it's as good as it is, to be honest, because a lot of people tell you, like, they're piles, you know, they're just dirt. And other people, I bought the 419 on the strength of the 418 that I had, like, you know. And like, the 419 is a lovely shovel, like, you know, you bring it to mass, like, it's a lovely yoke, like, it's the type of thing, it's terrible comfortable. The view of it is something else. Before I bought the 419, I had a few demonstrators, to be fair. And look, they're all good shovels, and I won't knock any of them, but they're all much too big for where I was going into. Like, a lot of people we cut silage for, like, they built their silage pits back 10 and 15 and 20 years ago when they thought they were going to be cutting 40 acres of silage, or they were probably cutting 30 at the time, and they built the pit big enough for another 10 or 12, thinking that they're never going to try to put 100 into the pit, you know. So basically they haven't got the room for big machines, and look, the smaller one works an awful lot better with us now, to be honest with you. The same as why we have the small, why have we two harvesters, like, you know. It's not much point in being able to pick up 100 acres a day and push up 25 of them, if you know, like, so basically, yeah, horses for courses, I suppose, is the word we should be using. Yeah.
And again, that's why you've gone for the 20s and the 22-foot Brahons rather than anything bigger.
Correct. Yeah, look at this places, again, you wouldn't, like, the Jeep would be hard enough to get into some of the places we're going to, never mind a 22-foot trailer, you know, and it has to be brought in, and you can see some of the trailers have steering axles and more of them haven't. So again, the day we're going, we bring the actual trailer that's going to get into the place, if you're not getting it. You got a big 24-foot trailer, sure, again, you'd have it tipped in some of the yards, you'd be back out in the field with the load, you know, like it just drag along the ground or whatever, you know. So smaller trailers, horses for courses again.
Yeah, but feel sorry for the loader man on a day like that anyway.
Oh yeah, he'd be, yeah.
Have you gotten a chance to try the new 870 on the new grouper class mowers?
Yes.
What is your verdict?
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tractor, it's on heavy ground, you'd notice now you probably do a little bit more horsepower with the groupers going, but in general, yeah, a nice job. Mowers do a good job. There's an awful lot of setting on them that I don't know nothing about yet, but probably will learn as we go along. I'll leave that to the young lads, if you know what I get. But in general, the mowers are, you know, kind of what I was looking for, yeah, in mowers. The groupers, I went for the groupers this year because 2 years ago we had the mowers, rake, harvester, everything in the same field. No need for raking. So it's probably a bit of an overkill to have groupers, and people will say, why do you go for groupers now? But there's days of the week that you will use them. Like, there's 100%. Like, they were used all day today now, earlier.
You are the moorman, but Sean, your son, was able to take over today. He managed to get a bank holiday off because, you know, he's flat out most of the time, but it's great to see the family running within the business too.
Ah, it is great. And sure, he's a great help. Sure, look, we'd fall out loads of times, but at the same time, we all come up with the same ideas at the end of the day, to be honest about it. And like when the shoulder needs to be put to the wheel, he's there to do it as well, which is great, like, you know, to be honest about it, you know. So, look, I didn't feed him for nothing, so basically he's working there anyway, he's grand.
But it's been brilliant to be able to come down
well,
and
sure,
see
it was great
this.
having you.
Thanks a million for having us out.
And sure, you'll come again, sure, sometime.
Ah, no, there'll be no doubt now.
Yeah.